You're here to test ignition secondary. Step one, of course, is to connect your scope. Follow the instructions that come with your individual equipment and make sure you connect the scope correctly. For coil unplug or quad 4 engines, use a short plug wire as an extension to connect your scope. In order to look at the patterns like we show you here, make a recording and play it back frame by frame. Ignition patterns happen so quickly that the scope has difficulty in displaying them, and you may miss some important diagnostic information. Make a recording, play it back. Once you have your scope connected, you can set up the screens to look at raster or parade or individual cylinders. We chose individual cylinders so we can point out what you should be diagnosing in the pattern. This is the voltage required to start the spark. It should be even on all cylinders and under 20 kV. As you can see, ours is near 25 kV. This can be caused by lean fuel mixtures, high resistance in plug wires, and worn spark plugs. This is the voltage after the spark has started. 3 to 4 kV is typical. It should be under 6 kV on DIS systems, and it should be even on all cylinders. When this voltage is over 6 kV, it's usually caused by bad spark plug wires or high resistance of the spark plug. This is an example of a bad plug wire. This is another example of a bad plug wire. You can see that they don't always look exactly the same. When this voltage is under 3 kV, it indicates arcing outside the cylinder, and this is caused by bad plug wires or carbon tracking. In this example, we have 2 cylinders that are firing outside the cylinder because of carbon tracking. You can see it's definitely under 3 kV. Then look at the length and the shape of the spark line. The length should be 1.5 milliseconds, but always over 0.9 milliseconds. When it's under 0.9 for short spark durations with normal kV, check primary coil current, spark plug condition, and the coil condition in the ignition system test to find the fault. The shape should be flat, and it will arc up slightly at the end. This is the shape and the high kV spike of a lean cylinder. In this case, you would go to fuel system testing. If all cylinders are lean, check fuel pressure, fuel filter, fuel pump, and things that are common to all cylinders. If only one cylinder is lean, check the injector itself or the manifold runner for that cylinder. This uneven shape shows turbulence in the cylinder. You would check for leaking EGR. You would check for engine mechanical problems and injectors that don't atomize the fuel correctly. You know, they have a dribble pattern. The oscillations at the end are from the energy remaining in the coil after the spark goes out. Look for 1 or 2 oscillations. If they're missing, check for a weak coil in the ignition system test. Use these patterns to diagnose your secondary ignition